Well, you see, Henry and I, we've been dating for a very long time, ever since prom. And didn't used to be poor, you know. It's just recently, since, you know, the whole depression struck, he's been scrounging, you know, and he lives with his mom, and he keeps asking me to marry him. And I can tell by now when he's going to ask me. See, he gets this look on his face about, it's almost like a grimace. I don't know why he grimaces when he's going to ask me to marry him. He just does, you see. And I lash out because I'm not really into the whole money thing. I just don't want us to be scrounging for our children or for our wedding or anything, you know, and I don't want him to give me a piece of tinfoil for a wedding ring. It's just, I want to make sure that he can afford to even marry me. But I have strong, you know, I'm very opinionated, you see. So I have strong expectations about what I would like in a husband, and Henry is perfect for that. He's kind and comforting, and he's relatively strong if you get past his size. But I mean, he's perfect. It's just, he needs to learn to control his salary. That's all I'm saying. He just needs to think realistically. Ever since he lost his job about 3 months ago, he hasn't really been looking for a job. He's basically in debt. And his mother even talks to him about it, and I've talked to him about it, and he doesn't really see, you know, that he's in debt. He just kind of doesn't really care. And then he keeps asking me to marry him. But I don't want to marry somebody who wastes money that they don't have. But enough about Henry. We'll move back to him later. So, I guess we should talk about me, since this is my interview. I am Anita. I am 23 years old, and I live in good old Maryland. I have always lived in Maryland, ever since I was very, very little, and I was born in Kentucky, but my parents moved to Maryland when they decided that Kentucky was too southern. They don't like grits, you see. And so they moved to Maryland. Nice little town of Maryland. It's got great trees, good people, you know, stuff like that. Now me, like I said, I'm a very opinionated person, and I have high expectations, not just in men, but in general. Ever since I was little, I always had high expectations. I had high expectations of my grades, and high expectations of my teachers, you see, which did not get me very far because they had high expectations of me. And I've always had high expectations of myself. And if I don't meet those high expectations, we won't go there. But you see, it's just, I have high expectations. My mother has high expectations, and so does my grandmother. I'm not sure about my great-grandmother. I never met her. But my grandmother, she married a very wealthy man and became a baroness, you see. My mother did not marry too well, but the man that she married, my father, was perfect in every way. I loved him so much. But that's why I've had such high expectations in men. I wanted to marry into a well-bred household, and Henry's just not well-bred, you see. I mean, his mother's fine, I love him, and I love her, excuse me, but it's just, he doesn't have high expectations of himself. And that's the only problem. The rest of him is fine. It's just, he's not necessarily opinionated. And I think we'd work well together, you see, because I can push him along, and he'll listen to me, because he doesn't really care, doesn't have his opinions on things, doesn't have high expectations. So, if we got married, I think we'd work well together, like I said. But it's just, I want him to have enough money, you see. Like I 100% for my children and for me and for him. And I just don't want to marry into a household where he doesn't really care about his salary and doesn't go after what he wants. How much more would you like me to say?
That's good.
All right.